And one more time, I'll mess this up. Good Lord. Help me. Get it right in the camera, blah, 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 blah. Sometimes you can't get it right in the camera. Maybe you're up against the end of your rope with how far back you can get, or in my case, in this image I'm going to show you, is there was a fence in the way. And yeah, I have straddled fences before. And sometimes it's barbed wire fence, and sometimes it hurts in the wrong places, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I'll show you how, in those instances where I can't get quite to where I want to be, I use the crop tool. I try to use the rule of thirds as much as possible, or my preferred method is the golden spiral. Basically, it takes you kind of around the image and you can kind of see everything. And I'll demonstrate that on here as well. But there are a ton of tools inside of Lightroom that you can tweak your composition to where it definitely will make the image stand out more and pop more and just more interesting altogether. But let me show you in Lightroom what I look at and what I see. And here's an image that is straight out of camera. You can see that's from import and nothing has been done to it. So just like I've said in the last couple of videos, I start every video or every image off the same by doing the same thing that I do to every image. So basically, I take all the highlights down and all these shadows up. And then on this one, for some reason, other versions or other computers I have Lightroom on, I do a couple other things that this one doesn't have, mainly the calibration, the lens correction, which is right here. And then also the vibrant slider. I always slide that up a little bit. And then I also will do basically 10 on, maybe I should just make a new preset with that, 10 on both clarity and 5 on dehaze. And that is a starting point that I try to do on all my images. So that's how it starts. Now this is going to be show you the crop tool. So this is the image straight on camera. This image was, I was actually out doing the cell phone video, the cell phone shoot for the video that I posted just before this one. And as I was leaving, I looked over my shoulder and said, oh, I've got to get something out of this. So basically the fence, I had to lean over the fence. And this is a telephone pole here on the very left, so we'll crop that out. So the first thing I do when I'm going to crop an image is just get it straight. And you can do it two ways. You can either use this angle, which you can draw a straight line on what would be the horizon or what you think would be the horizon. And if you hit the close on that, boom, that looks like it's straightened it up pretty good. Or let me reset that, and I'll show you another way to do it, or a way that I do most of it is just do it free-handed. If you grab one of these corners down here, you'll see the cursor change to arrows, and then you could just pull it up that way. Either way works fine for the most part, but sometimes you just can't see an actual horizon line. So I'll try and make these swirls straight or whatever. So that's the initial crop I do just to get to anything that's on the very edge, or most of the stuff that's on the very edge that I don't want in the image, and kind of go from there. Now I'll just kind of do some of my normal workflow with this. So I'll go ahead and select the sky again, and I'll intersect that with a radial gradient, and I'll go across pretty much the whole sky where the sun would be shining, and then just really warm that up. And even give a little color there. Get back to fill up the frame, and you can kind of see where it's at. So I will also increase the whites and decrease the black just to give it to more contrast. Then I'll do another Again, I don't know if maybe I should try it sometime. I could probably intersect it again with, but I just do it, and then I'll intersect it with linear gradient. And if you hold down the shift key, it'll go straight down, but I like to have it a little bit of an angle. And this is where I'm going to add that blue in there, and I'll get it a little more color that way. And then come down here to the foreground or the ground, and almost always put some warmth into that. And then some texture, because the more texture, actually it's already got it in there. There's definitely a lot more texture in the desert than in most places. So that is pretty much the basic edit that I would do. I might do a little more to that sky. Let's take a look at that. That's the radial gradient. Let's come back up here and maybe a little dehaze in that, a little more dehaze in that sky. You can see it gets a little more definition that way. And then maybe go back up to this and get a little bluer, a little more temperature grade in that. And then maybe even take the exposure down just a touch. And then that's it. That's the basic edit. So really what this video is about is going to be the power of cropping. You see down here, I've already had a couple of these, but thought I would do a video on it. So there's a couple different ways. Obviously, if you're posting it on Instagram, you're going to need to make it a 5x4, 5x4. And what I'll always do, and you can see I've made virtual copies, and the virtual copies don't actually add any or much space to your hard drive, but it is a way to have different versions of the image. So then what I'll do is make a virtual copy, and then I'll use this crop tool. And you can see that there is, this is called the golden spiral. If you hit the O key, it will cycle through different ways to crop. So this is, if I switch this over, if you hit Shift and O, it will change the position. Now, if I was at a mountain that had a big slant on it or whatever, you could put a couple of points of interest here or here. Let's just see if I could do something with that one. So I could put something down like that, and it kind of works. But my main focus was this dead saguaro and one of these saguaros. So I'll reset that. Problem is, if you reset it, you're going to have to straighten it again. So let me just back that back up. So just pull that back out, pull it up. Anyway, so typically there's two that I use. Well, 3 or 4. I'll either use the rule of thirds, or I will, and you can see this rule of thirds has pretty much the horizon would be on this line, and then you try to get a couple of the intersection on some of these other saguaros or some of these other points of interest. And then I also like to use the golden spiral. And again, if I hit the Shift and O, it'll move that around, so it'll give you kind of an idea of what you can do with that. Anytime that I can use this golden spiral, I will. People smarter than me tell me that that's a good composition. So basically, your eye kind of goes around and it goes through that sky, and it kind of encompasses these saguaros. So that would be one way to do it, to set the composition. But another way would be to, well, let me go back to that, and I messed it up. All right, so let me put it back on here to where that point of interest is on that dead saguaro, which is, I knew that was there when I pulled over, but really the sky was the biggest thing. And so if I just hit close on that now, you'll see how that changes the image. Now it's more focused, as you're looking, basically your eye is drawn to these 3 elements, obviously in the sky. At least to me, that's what it does. Now, if I go another step or do another thing with a rule of thirds, you're going to get sort of the same impact. So, and a lot of people don't like to crop that much. Wait a minute, was that the wrong way? Yeah. They want you to get it right in camera, but sometimes, like me, on this image, like I said over here, you could see where I was actually leaning over the fence, so you can't get exactly what you would like to get, but it is what it is. So what I did with this one, and you can see we've got this one on the rule of thirds. This is a little bit off of the rule of thirds, but it's still kind of there. But also, I've got that other saguaro dead center. So I've got 2 different compositions with 2 points of interest in it. So to me, I think that that's what kind of makes that. So, and again, if I close that, you can see that's what it looks like. Let's see if I can go back and show you the other one. Yeah, so there is basically uncropped. And this was the golden spiral. And then this is the rule of thirds. So pretty close to the golden spiral. They both could fit in there, but that's the difference on that. And then again, what I normally do would do a couple of radial masks and just kind of bring the light out, a little bit of a vignette to where you're going to draw in the interest a little more towards that sun and that other sorrow, or the dead sorrow. But again, you can see all the other ones. And then I'll do another one, and just that one I put a vignette on it, which I took out some exposure. The next one I will do is I will add a little exposure. The sun would be coming over here, and it would be angled down a little bit, so that I'll just add some warmth to it, give it a little more glow on it. Anyway, so that's what the power of the crop can do for you. It can take an image like this, which isn't bad, but if you focus a little, get it a little more focused, I think that's a much better composition. So anyway, just want to kind of walk you through that, and something that you can do fairly easy to give your images a little more. One other thing that I do, because I do most of my work on Instagram, but the one other thing that I'll do is I'll make another virtual copy, and I will, I will make a virtual. Let's start that over. One other thing I'll do is I'll make a virtual copy, and then I will crop it to 9:16, and then I will put it sideways inside of the story, and I'll say something along the lines of wide image in my story. So same thing. This one is, I'll probably just lower it a little bit because I like that rock down there at the bottom, but it'll be sort of similar to the rule of thirds, even though it isn't, that the interest point isn't there. Part of it is there, and it's still kind of the same thing. And what that crop will do is will even give it a more up close and personal feeling, but it will also just kind of highlight the way the desert is. And it's, to me, with a little bit of lighting, you can almost feel like you're walking into this picture. If you have a camera that is a full frame, you don't have to worry about cropping too much, because with today's technology and up-resing images or upping the resolution, you'll be able to print this just about any size that you would want. And I don't know what this actual size is, but I wouldn't have a problem sending this to the printer and having it printed up as far as a 20 by 30 or something. So anyway, that's what we got. One other thing I'll do is I'll make a virtual copy, and then I will crop it to 9:16, and then I will put it sideways inside of, and I'll say something along the lines of wide image in my story. So same thing. This one is, I'll probably just lower it a little bit because I like that rock down there at the bottom, but it'll be sort of similar to the rule of thirds, even though it isn't, that the interest point isn't there. Part of it is there, and it's still kind of the same thing. And what that crop will do is will even give it a more up close and personal feeling, but it will also just kind of highlight the way the desert is. And it's, to me, with a little bit of lighting, you can almost feel like you're walking into this picture. If you have a camera that is a full frame, you don't have to worry about cropping too much, because with today's technology and up-resing images or upping the resolution, you'll be able to print this just about any size that you would want. And I don't know what this actual size is, but I wouldn't have a problem sending this to the printer and having it printed up as far as a 20 by 30 or something. So anyway, that's what we got. That hair is terrible. Who cares? All right. Thanks for being here. No, that's not what I want to do. Please like and if you find this information helpful, that'd be nice if you would like it and subscribe it. Subscribe it? God. Like and you know what to do. If you like the video, you know what to do. Anyway, thanks for being here and have fun.